yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. Welcome back to the Couch Command, where we're going to be talking about One Piece. And as opposed to usual times where we sit here for 3 hours, we're going to try aim for one and respect all of our times, including yours. With us today, we have the new person on the podcast, Greg.
Hey, what's up?
All right, good to have you, man. We also have you with us, Isaac.
Hey, yo, dreaming.
No.
Don't give it up, Luffy. Dreaming.
Oh my
Don't
God.
give it up, Zolo.
Please.
Dreaming. Don't give it up, me. Dreaming. Yo, here's how the story goes. We're talking about there's a treasure on the Grand Line, and every pirate's going like, I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna be king.
At least try and memorize the whole thing, Isaac.
Well,
before
you
try to butcher
didn't give me enough time. I was looking for it, the lyrics, and I was going to do the whole thing, but your intro was too short. You screwed me over, Greg.
Sorry.
Take it this is Luffy's shanty from later on.
No, this was all right. So let me give you some a little bit of context and history.
Hold on. We haven't said everybody's. We haven't introduced everybody.
Okay.
And we also have MJ.
Greetings and salutations. Thanks for having me back.
All right, and then I did want to do a little bit of a structure. Isaac, where did you want to start with this?
All right, so this is a monumentous day. This is a huge. So the cringe rap I was just singing. I'm sure you know MJ through cultural osmosis. Things like Naruto, Bleach were huge in getting anime to become more mainstream in the United States. And a part of this big three was One Piece. And One Piece is honestly the king. It's the best out of the three of them. It's still ongoing. But One Piece had a very difficult, basically it got kneecapped in the United States, and one of the reasons is because it had one of the most infamous, awful, terrible dubs of all time. It was
that set it back for so many years, actually, now that I think about it. So many years, like 40 years or 30 years.
The 4Kids
one
dub
dub
was so
ruined
terrible.
everything.
It was
Okay, so the dub that's on Netflix right now is not the dub that originally came over to the United States with.
No, that's the Funimation dub. The original dub, you could. I'll send you clips of it online.
Isaac, apparently they're having trouble hearing your audio. Maybe you got to turn on microphone or something and OBS. Go to your OBS and or something.
Oh, all right. Yeah, there we go. All right. Hopefully they can hear it now.
And I'm supposed to be sharing my screen because I've been showing the 4K on the YouTube version. Right away they'll be seeing it, but I've been showing the 4Kids version of the sadness that once was One Piece.
Yeah, the 4Kids was the stuff of legends. It was a dub so terrible it basically destroyed the fandom for years. It poisoned the well. Where Naruto had kid soldiers fucking each other's shit up. Bleach had samurai using magic swords and battling in epic magical samurai duels in the afterlife. One Piece had this shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Instead of cigarettes, lollipops. Instead of weapons, it was comical things.
All the guns were
that made no sense.
Stokers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So are you guys? Does the picture keep clicking out every so often?
No, I can see it.
Okay.
No, I can see it.
What about when I do this? You still seeing it?
Oh, you're not sharing screen at the moment.
Okay.
Wait. I think. Wait. Are you? Oh yeah, you are sharing screen. Sorry.
So if I click on Discord, then the picture appears. But if I click over on the window I'm trying to show you guys, it disappears.
Oh, you might have to select a new thing that you're showing on Discord.
Okay.
Like a new screen that you're sharing on Discord. So when you share a screen, there should be several options of what you can share. If you want to share something different.
All right. Let's see. There's that, and then I do this. And yeah, it's still it won't stay there. if I click away from it. Yeah, that's the issue. Well, we'll deal with this later.
Okay.
The
Right.
podcast is still being created. We'll figure it out. But okay, One Piece first started. It was a crappy dub, but so I remember it happened. I don't remember it slowing anything down. Like I remember it happened, and then it just went to Toonami. It kind of kept on going, and they got its normal dub. But I don't think it set people back as to exposure and growing.
Yes, it did. Yes,
Okay.
it did. People dismissed One Piece as stupid, dumb kids shit. It gave it a stigma versus like Naruto and Bleach, which were a tad bit more edgy.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
okay, I see what you
agree with
mean.
that.
I mean, to me, what I thought was that the four kids led to it eventually coming to Toonami, so that we could eventually have the good one. But let's not get too caught on that. It did happen. I want to know everybody's start with One Piece. Greg, what's your start with One Piece?
My start with One Piece. I think Isaac was actually the one who introduced it to me.
Well,
or
'cause, like-
or was it our other college friend Tom? You suggested it. And
Was it
then-
Mike Johnson? Well, because so here's our whole story. Me and Greg have a
don't need
very
to
like.
name drop full
right.
names or anything of people that aren't even here.
Well, hey, I wasn't talking about him badly. I was
Okay.
just, but all right. So basically, me and Greg had this like great anime manga journey awakening where we were roommates. We weren't really getting. I wouldn't say we didn't get along, but we were more indifferent to each other. Where Greg was in his like gambling poker world, where he would just like play poker all the time to try and win money. And I was into my like weeb shit, torrenting anime, and eventually we connected by watching torrented anime together, and we sort of bonded over that while watching Naruto, Bleach, and eventually episodes of One Piece, and then we would like watch One Piece together. So I think we were like the beginning of when we were kind of watching it together was like Water 7 Sky P. No, it was Water 7 Enies Lobby when that was being animated.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been following it weekly since then, seeing the incredible journey of Shabody, Marineford. So I don't know if you could say we're diehards, but we've been around for a while.
Okay, just FYI, I'm still maybe a few chapters behind the manga right now. So, just be careful. I mean, I don't want to hear spoilers. Just
There's no one who's going to spoil it. Keith is an anime only. MJ is a One Piece newbie, so he's going to be the really interesting person to hear of what he thought of the TV show.
Okay, cool.
All right. Myself, it was in that era where like the great three just started to rise up and you couldn't ignore they existed. I was full into my Tokusatsu era on my Henshin Justice message board, and we were in more and more you'd always hear about Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, and like I was all in on Naruto, and I was like, I will give this One Piece a try because people won't stop about this, and for me it was only pleasant at best. I thought it was like, oh, this is good, this is nice, and I found it to be it was a nice anime. I was like, I don't see how this is punching close to the weight of Dragon Ball Z, like people seem to want to say, or of how it'd be anywhere near Naruto. And then that episode where Mihawk just comes in from the fog on his boat and like cuts down Zoro, and like my jaw dropped, and like I started feeling like the connections of everything of like, wait, they actually mean this. Wait, the scale of this power and building up, and we're still going. And then it just swept me away. Like the grand line itself felt so far away that like it seemed like it was like that would be the series finale. And then like you experience beyond that, and like no other story before or since have I seen such a story that continue to be consistently great, grow organically, and like capture my heart so that I've ugly cried several times. So yeah, One Piece just freaking took me, but I've only been anime. MJ, what was your start? Or did you guys have questions about like where I started or anything?
Well, I'm surprised actually you remember it so like so well, like
Yeah.
those beginning arcs, because like I don't remember how I felt completely about like when Mihawk showed up. I just, I think there was a certain point in One Piece that like really started to grow on me, but it's like really hard to pick.
I can definitively say why. I think the first arc, all of East Blue, is like honestly One Piece's weakest material. I think that's a big reason why a lot of people don't 100% get into them. For a lot of people, the big moment is the Arlong Park Nami moment. That's kind of when
Right.
they turn the fence. But if it's just
Was that
like,
before or after Mihawk showed up?
that's after.
After.
It's literally the
Okay.
arc after. So Barati / Arlong is the big turning point. I think the point where you really get to see how big and expansive One Piece is Alabasta. I think that whole arc is where you finally see the forest for the trees, where you see like what Oda's doing. He's not only also telling a satisfying story in the immediate, but he's also building the pieces for a much larger mythology by introducing these like greater elements, and that's when you sort of get the scope of like the totality of One Piece and when it really gets its hooks into you. But I think a lot of the stuff that comes before that can be a bit of a slog, which is makes this really interesting. The TV show is that it's working with all the what I think is the worst, weakest material.
Isaac, before you get into that, I think we should let MJ talk about his introduction of One Piece, though.
Yep.
My intro was actually listening to you guys on this podcast because I had never heard of One Piece till you guys started talking about it at all. And just the pure passion that you guys talk about it every time got me interested. And I was a little leery of watching the Netflix live action because, like we talked the last podcast about it, I didn't think the trailer gave me much hope beyond the previous disasters that Netflix had shat onto the screen. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by the live action.
So did you check out anything before the live action?
I read about 3 or 4 issues into the manga, and I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes of the anime just to kind of dip my toes in the water, see what I was getting into, and I think I'm going to try to keep reading the manga, because I starting reading the manga and watching the live action, like, okay, I can get into this. This looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah, like, so I'm wondering, like, as you start into it, did you feel right away, oh, I can see where this is going or why this is big? Or are you saying like, oh, this is a pleasant cartoon, I'm not seeing the big deal?
I'm kind of interested to see where it goes, because, I mean, there's the variety of characters that they have laid out could be very compelling. I mean, even with the first season of the live action show, you can see there's a lot of pieces that are a lot of table setting that's being done. So, I don't know, I found the table setting itself very interesting and see where it goes from there.
Like you found the crazy like departures of like different kinds of characters, like the diversity of the characters to be interesting, or maybe extreme diversity of characters.
That, and I want to know what's up with the fucking snails.
So yeah, here's my like big question for you to MJ. So as someone who's like probably the closest to like normcore sensibilities, at least like you're not a big anime head, you'll watch it if you get a strong enough recommendation, and because of nerd osmosis, what did you think of just like the One Piece live action without any context? Did it stand up? Did it feel like you could show it to like a normcore girlfriend who likes Pirates of the Caribbean but thinks Dragon Ball is lame and all that anime weeb shit is lame?
Actually, that's the strange thing about it, because I've watched it twice since it came out, the entire run of the series. I just finished my second rewatch this past week. There's such a strong Amblin Entertainment vibe to the series I never noticed the first time through I watched it. That's probably its biggest appeal, because, I mean, it's obvious the cast loves the roles that they're playing, and the casting director for the live action knocked it out of the park with pretty much every role they put on the screen with this. They should get a raise.
That's true.
Yeah, they got everything right for the normies in this series. Except for the snails, because any normie's gonna look at it and go, why are they using fucking snails? This has to be explained at some point, please. Now, I'm sure there'll probably be something. It's probably been explained in the manga and the anime, but
Not
at some
yet.
point, yeah. Are you
But like
serious?
things like this do often get explained thousands of episodes later. Like with Arlong Park. To me, like Arlong Park is like just like something like like a place that you would describe like to me it sounds like English. So it's like, oh, there's gonna name it Arlong Park. Okay, I get it. But then you find out there's like this deep, like full story reason why it's called Arlong Park and why it looks like an amusement park. And
Yes.
like when it finally unfolds, you're like, oh my god, and like, yeah, I just can't
You
see
appreciate
enough.
that content even more so now than you did when you first watched it.
Yeah, like when you're.
Sorry, finish your thought.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, yeah, it's gonna be that loop around. Like, you go to Arlong Park, you think that like it's just weird because anime is weird, and it's called Arlong Park because whatever, we'll just use these words together because they sound cool. And then like organically, you're like 800 episodes in, and then like you find out why, and then you come back, and it's just like everything just means more. So like that there are snails that they use to talk around and stuff. There's like possibly an actual reason, as opposed to saying like we're just being wacky and weird. There might be a real reason behind it.
And why are there a few random characters that seem oddly crossbred with animals, and you're like, okay, there's a lot of normal humans here, but then you get occasional guy that's half lamb, and you got a guy that's like half rabbit, and like,
oh yeah, that gets explained eventually.
all right, cool.
That part at least,
because just watching and go, oh, because anime, when you see characters like that pop up, like, yeah, okay,
yeah, a lot of One Piece feels like because anime, and then like it starts to unfold, like, oh wait, no, because I'm in the hands of a master storyteller, and like some shit is really going on, and he knows what he's doing. It's like, it's like he's one of the
that is what sort of makes Oda so good, is that he's great on building upon all of the things he introduces and making it deeper and richer. Like, I think one of the greatest sins in modern storytelling is the J.J. Abrams mystery box, where you just have these like stupid things that go nowhere, and you just feel disappointed as an audience, like you were just strung along. Oh, why is the polar bear on the island? Ooh, why is there a smoke monster?
And
why is
like,
Anakin's lightsaber showing up in a chest randomly?
And there's nothing like satisfying, like there's nothing satisfying like for the overarching story of why these things are the way they are with something like Lost, for instance, where you have all these random mysteries, like why does this statue have 6 toes, blah blah blah, and then it doesn't end up going anywhere like too meaningful.
Yeah, and then One Piece, on the other hand, like you'll see a flash in the dark and a giant silhouetted against the sky itself, and like there's a reason, and you will find it. And like I do imagine like there's like there's gotta be pieces and places that he is just spamming beauty and just having fun, but like he does such a good job at creating all these characters that like you do start to organically feel that every weird character is weird because they have a real story to tell. And that's the power of One Piece. So I think we should start getting into the live action and like our lead up to it. Or do we have anything else to cover besides like the basis of like our feelings of One Piece in general?
One other note about the Lost angle there is one of the showrunners worked on Lost, so I'm kind of glad none of the Lost crap made its way into this.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe he's working through his frustrations of not having to just do crappy mysteries.
Mystery box.
Well, with One Piece, at least you have a very strong, writer and world builder with you working on it as well. Like, I think Oda personally was involved in this show.
Oh yeah,
he was even involved with the casting too.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure, he found Luffy. That's what he said.
Yep.
Casting is perfect. All right, so let's go into like what our feelings were going into One Piece live action. Like, so for me, going into it, I thought it was a countdown to the end of the universe. I was waiting for just to be able to maybe to hate watch it, revel in the disgust of them getting everything wrong. Because unfortunately, ever since Disney Star Wars, that's been a part of meta entertainment now, and has created some of my favorite YouTubers of all time. So I thought that's what was going to happen with this. I was ready. Like I was like, all right, let's hate parade, and like we will be doing eventually a watch party, and for that, I was really expecting to not have much to say and like fight for a lot of energy to probably have something to say and not just insult it all the time. But yeah, now I'm afraid to have the camera on because I don't want them to see me become a blubbering mess and crying at the end of that series. So yeah. What was your path to One Piece, Isaac?
I have a very complicated one. So basically, I was cautiously optimistic after being burned by Cowboy Bebop. I didn't want to believe it, but despite it, I figured like, all right, I'm gonna go all out. Maybe it'll be bad, maybe it'll be good. So I had a One Piece weekend where I had my buddy Scott, his fiance, came up all the way from Maryland. I had Greg and his wife. They all came over. We had a big One Piece pool party. We had barbecue, and then we binge watched the entire series. And I had snacks, and we just had a grand old time. And everyone was laughing. We were having a great time. We were all kind of like afraid. I was the only one who had like good, hopeful expectations. But
yeah, real quick, I have a huge question on that. Why did you have good expectations at all?
Oh, I also had some good expectations as well. From what I saw was what I was seeing on what was back then Twitter, Zitter. So in Zitter, they were sharing like all this stuff like, wow, oh shit, there's like some real actual hype about this, and it's starting to look good, like just from the trailers themselves, and also you could see behind the scenes stuff about like how Oda picked Luffy and like how involved he was, and like how he literally did a little speech of like, hey, this character, this guy, he is Luffy. Like, I feel pretty good about this series. When Oda says something is good, like, I mean, it's hard to ignore that. Like, I mean, I trust Oda a lot now.
I guess like from
those behind the scenes videos that Netflix has been feeding for this series have been great to watch. I mean, just the pure joy coming from the cast, just playing the roles and supporting each other. It's just been like,
yeah, seeing them together is really good.
It's rare to see such positive energy behind a series on anywhere.
All right, so I'm sorry I cut you off, Isaac. Continue, but yeah, like I was curious. Like, yeah, go ahead.
So one, I think everyone should like take a book. I think Netflix the marketing was spot on. They didn't get in any fights. The other really smart thing they did, and I think this also like ties into the never-ending culture war, is that they were considerate they managed to have diversity while not disrespecting the source material and the original author's vision. Like the big moment was when they like cast the Straw Hats and they followed the nationalities of what Oda envisioned each of the Straw Hats being. And so because he said he saw Luffy as Brazilian, they had the narrative justification to have a Hispanic person as Luffy. And following that was just, to me, like an incredible sign of goodwill. So it wasn't like, we're changing this arbitrarily, fuck you, bigot. We're making changes where it narratively makes sense. Nami's sister is adopted. Okay, so we can have a black actress for Nojiko, and we have the narrative license to do that, versus we're changing Ariel's race. Fuck you if you don't like it. Get with the times, bigot, screw you. And I think that sort of consideration across the board showed a tremendous amount of respect to the source material.
Amen. Like, I appreciate it. We shouldn't have to ask for it, but like, yeah, they made their job to please the fan first, as opposed to making it your job to just like crap on the fans first and say don't get in our way. And like, yeah, there's no we warned this actress that there will be racists out there and we'll attack her before she gets on screen. So we make an entire story about it. they just they just let the story unfold. They let their actors do the thing. So yeah, like I guess like yeah, when it comes to black casting, I've been having I've had trouble with it my entire life. Like as a kid, I noticed that like when you cast the black male actor, they don't get to be good looking. They don't get to be as heroic as others. I do feel that like with who they cast as Usopp, I do feel like he gets to like I can see fangirls looking at this guy like as a heartthrob. They could have
Usopp's got fan cams.
does he?
Yeah, on TikTok, he's got fan cams, and so does Buggy.
Okay, wait, what's a fan cam?
So basically, it's like a tribute where they do like an edit and they play sexy music, and it's like
Nice.
showcasing them like, oh, this guy's so cool and hot. So
Yep,
that's what
yep.
like a fan cam is. It's like a fandom.
Yeah, like one of the showrunners is a black man, so I appreciate like it really showed like so with the Usopp they like usually with black actors they usually go with unattractive, overweight, and like it's not a problem if you're either one of those things. I myself have weight myself. I'm just saying like when it comes throughout time, like for white characters, you usually get like the most beautiful characters, actors you can find. And then when you get to the black one, oh, he's funny, he's overweight. You're like, okay, he did it again and again. And here with Usopp, he's an attractive man, and I appreciate it. And like they don't overplay, they do the strength of Usopp, which is like, yes, he's scared because he can't take a shot of a tank to the face and live through it. And that's kind of like his bravery. And like they keep him scared, but he pulls through. Like we love our Usopp. Like, and then one last thing with the black casting was how they cast the black boys at the samurai school for Zoro. Once again, like you could tell that there was someone on hand who were like, can we just show that black men have diverse different ways of looking good looking, and it was really good, and it was fantastic, and I really appreciate it. So anyway, that's enough of that.
And not have Zoro kill all the black characters either.
Oh yeah, he definitely did though. He definitely did. I did not. I found out about the minority hunter Zoro. And
I feel like the showrunner just did it to like have the meme alive to give a source.
Yes.
And
Right.
that addition, I did kind of like it because like Zoro's one of those edgy characters who's like, I'm gonna take your head. Ooh, you're gonna do. But he never really kills anyone in the manga. He just like knocks them out. So to me, it's not a huge issue, but I always feel like it makes him seem invalid and less tough. So I like that he just walks in with a real bounty and a guy in a sack for his intro.
But that was like actually in the anime too, right? Like that the way he introduced himself, it was literally him dragging a body, right?
Was it?
Wasn't
I
that,
had to like double check.
But they don't actually show him killing Mr. Seven in the comic or the manga or the anime because I actually found a video about that. It's a throwaway line from later on in the series, and they decided to make that the intro for Zoro in the live action.
So
see, that's clever.
I was gonna say, like, when the black community is in on the joke, it's funny. Like, it's okay. Like, because like I've been seeing a lot of hilarious videos about Minority Hunter Zoro, and they make me laugh very hard. So that like there's a black showrunner, and they did it again in the live action is actually hilarious to me. So, and then like.
That's why I thought like the first time through and the second time through, I thought that they were intentionally trolling that meme.
I think they might have been.
Because, they show Zoro killing Mr. Seven and then plowing through all the fishmen towards the end there, but he doesn't kill the two cat gang members.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Oh my god.
See, that is because...
it's because you got the two cat gang members that are clear and obvious threats to the entire crew, and Zoro's just like, I'm going to fight you and knock you out. I was just like, you should be cutting their heads off.
I was just confused when you said Minority Hunter Zoro. I was like, which minorities did he hunt down again? Like,
remember, he fights Mr. One. There's that really strong-skinned woman. There's King, who counts as his own minority, where he like cuts off his wing in the end of the super fight with Kaido.
There's videos that like show him like over and over and over and over again. You're like, oh wow, that is a lot of people of color getting cut down, and like because the videos about it are very funny. Like I don't know if it's subconscious. I don't think it's malicious. There you go.
Wait. Okay. What about Giraffe Guy? Giraffe does that count?
I'll say he's not exclusive to cutting down minorities, but if he sees one, it's time to fight. It's time to kill. Get my killing gloves on.
That's the first time I heard that, but that's actually kind of funny.
Let's see. Now we can just freestyle on Zoro. He's one of us. He's one of he came up in Tokusatsu, so he was actually in Kamen Rider. So I appreciate one of our own hitting the big time.
Wait,
and he's the son of Sonny Chiba too.
Wait, what do you mean?
God,
the actor?
Yeah,
Yes.
the actor.
Okay, yeah.
Apparently, he was also in the Roni Kenshin movies, and that's a big reason why he got paid more than apparently the Tatiana Maslany in She-Hulk.
I would say the biggest reason for that is he's literally doing his own stunts, and what he's doing is some of the when it comes to fighting in the West, I don't know anyone that's been fighting with two swords that long on screen. He's doing some new stunts and fighting that I've rarely seen in anything. I watch a lot of fighting every stuff. So
I did appreciate the fact that the rest of the cast actually did most of their fight scenes and stunts themselves. I did appreciate that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think they really wanted to too, because they wanted to really embody their characters.
Yeah, Tatiana Maslany, she gets to sit at a bar and twerk. And therefore Zoro, on the other hand, is fighting with I want to say at least two swords. I'm not sure how much he's always actually holding the real sword.
One is fighting with her ass, the other is fighting with the blades.
Well, so
I'll say it before and I'll keep saying it again. Everybody needs to not base their opinion of Tatiana Maslany based on She-Hulk. Just watch Orphan Black and feel better about yourselves. Anyway, next.
Well, MJ, I'm kind of curious to ask: is the One Piece? So, which was your favorite of the sort of story arcs, and which was your least favorite? Which one made the most impression? Which characters do you think stuck out the most?
Let's see. Well, of the sub arcs in the first season, I'd have to say the Konomi Island arc, where you actually get into the pathos behind Nami and her upbringing and everything that's been building up towards her for the entirety of the season. I thought that was a pretty impactful arc of the three. Favorite character? Dracula Mihawk. That dude is fucking cool. Holy shit. And I never heard of the actor that got to play him, but that dude is fucking awesome. Second favorite was Buggy, because I'm a fan of Jeff Ward from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when he was Deke Shaw on there. And actually, Matt Owens, one of the showrunners, was a writer for the majority of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is probably the connection there.
I didn't know he was from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, he's a big Marvel TV guy. He was a writer for Luke Cage. He was a writer for the Defenders. He's big on the Marvel television side. But there's
he showed up in one of the last few seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so he wasn't there at the start.
No, yeah, he showed up about halfway through when they started getting real crazy with the time travel in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But yeah, I thought he was a great Buggy. Aside from that, just the Straw Hats, I just thought the casting was great, and Inaki Godoy is the cornerstone of the entire show, literally and figuratively. The enthusiasm of that actor is just infectious throughout the entire season.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought, I was so worried they're gonna really try to amp it up to ridiculous anime levels where people would just not take it seriously at all.
I expected that.
Yeah,
or amp down. I thought I expected them to all be
a
tweens.
good balance.
Yeah,
right?
I expected them to all be tweens. I expected no death. I expected forced love romances. None of it. They just kept on doing it.
Apparently, that was one of Oda's big no break rules, no inner crew romance.
I could not believe. I was waiting for that look between Nami and Zoro. I'm like, oh god, I don't want the will they won't they bullshit.
I actually had this theory that the actor for Zoro and Nami, or the actor for Zoro actually had a crush on Nami, but turns out he's actually married. So but it's things like that could mess with my head a little bit with like the dynamics of the characters in the actual show if they're like actually, if they feel like genuinely like if they feel like they're generally like they're genuine, I don't know how to describe it. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Sincere, earnest, those the words you're looking for?
Right, sincere and earnest. So like if there's a scene with Zoro and he's like staring down Nami, like thinking in the back of his mind, like, yeah, I wanna fuck you or something like that.
Get with that.
That might interfere with the performance or something,
I guess like, are you saying like
or selling it?
If like there's like romance behind the scene and like it might mess up like the cast chemistry type stuff.
Yeah, that's something like that. Yeah, and like make it so like the delivery of lines are like more awkward or something.
I
guess
I saw them work so hard on like making sure that they all are comfortable, legitimate friends, and like
Right.
all their interviews come through with it. And yeah, like I can't get over how much discipline they had on like making sure that like the culture of like the show and the people in it and like the people making it like worked in step with like the fans versus like the Witcher or Disney
Right.
Star Wars.
Or that infamous Cowboy Bebop where like Danielle Pineda was like, this is why I don't dress in the sexy uniform of Faye Valentine, because that doesn't make sense for a real woman to wear. Anime fanboys that I don't look like her. Fuck you.
And how weird is it? It's the same company that it's the same studio. Like
It's the same one as Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Tomorrow Studio.
I'm surprised they let them touch One Piece after that. I only
or
watched
anything.
I only watched the very first opening scene of Cowboy Bebop. Like it was kind of flashy and everything and nice, but like in terms of like watching the live action version of it is like
I couldn't
don't know,
get past 2 episodes. I was like,
I couldn't get past one episode. Like
Ugh.
there's something cringe. Something cringe going on.
It felt bad. It didn't feel good to watch.
That's why
And,
One
like,
Piece feels like a minor miracle. Sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
because like the tone of One Piece is like 10 times harder to get right than Cowboy Bebop, because Cowboy Bebop would translate in live action versus One Piece, which is like goofy, over the top, super cartoony. And one of the most remarkable things I think was like keeping the humor but making it palatable. So like the humor in One Piece can be like very juvenile. Some of the gags hit, some of them you just kind of like roll your eyes and move on for like the better story bit. But like some of the humor like just works really well. Like Zoro's like, I want to wear something that's black.
Or trying to watch Zoro sit down with his 3 swords. Oh my god! Like,
yeah,
great physical humor. Well, I guess like what I'm pulling up on the screen here is, while the same company, like I'm seeing a complete different creatives behind it. Like they,
Christopher Yost. Oh,
Christopher Yost is the man. He is
just now with Bebop.
Yes, Bebop he failed, but he's always been Marvel's MCU's secret weapon. And if you haven't seen, oh shit, he did Armored Hero. Okay, if you haven't seen Earth's Mightiest Heroes, you want to see Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It's fantastic.
Oh, he did Thor: Dark World too.
Oops! Turn it off! No more questions.
Wait,
you're undercutting my point.
That was the remarkable thing of like making the humor palatable and like going in on all, because like one thing I think like how One Piece had a little bit of the same problem as Netflix, maybe they had more money, is that it looks like a cheap, expensive show where like some of the effects look terrible, some of the CGI looks terrible. I did not like any of the fishmen, but they went all in on like the set design, and I think the costumes, and I think those elements kind of compensated for some of the weaker ones.
I thought the effects for Buggy were actually pretty tight too. I appreciated that.
Buggy looked good, but
okay.
there was like this one scene where like Luffy like Garp throws the cannonball at Luffy, and then the like cannonball bounces off on him, and then it hits the ship of Garp, and the mast falls down. I'm like, oh god, this looks like just an After Effects explosion.
Yeah, but can we also appreciate how good the casting was for Garp?
Oh yeah.
Reagan is perfect for Garp. I love watching him every time he's on screen.
Look at him and look at the anime. How do you get it so good?
That was such a great choice.
I mean, he looked badass with a bulldog hat on his head. I mean, how many guys can pull off that look and look badass? And what was funny about Vincent Reagan was actually looking through his credits and like, wait, he was Leonidas' captain in 300? Wait, he was in Snow White and the Huntsman? Wait, he was in Troy? What the hell? That guy's been all over the place for years. He's like the most seasoned actor in the cast, but damn, he just chewed up every scene he was in. It was great.
I gotta push back though. That was one of the. I mean, I'm overall positive. I have a lot of little nitpicks and complaints. One of my complaints was the Garp storyline, because like on a surface level, it sounds like a brilliant idea because they basically. Keith, do you know about the One Piece cover stories?
No.
So in the manga, or Greg, you want to explain it?
I think you'll explain it better, Isaac.
All right, so in Japanese manga, when you do a chapter, it's what a lot of authors will do is they'll have like a cover page for each chapter where they'll showcase some art or do a neat little illustration. Some don't. What Oda does is really interesting, where he'll have cover stories where he'll draw these like one panel pages that tell you the story of another character who's from another arc and what they're up to. And it's a brilliant way of like fleshing out the world, making it feel deeper. So like, you remember Hachi from Arlong Park in the anime, Keith?
No, but I'll remember if I see him.
He's the octopus guy. He's the guy who was
yes, I remember him.
This never got animated, but Oda gave him an entire cover story where they show him underseas. He even meets the mermaid Kami, who appears in the Shabati archipelago. He gives them this whole big background. And it's a brilliant thing that Oda does. So what they thought to do is to take the cover story of Kobe and Helmeppo training under Garp and being part of the Marines. We'll use that as our B storyline. It makes sense. You can go back to old locations. You can have them trail Luffy. It has the A storyline and the B storyline. But like, I was not a huge fan of it, just because like I love Garp in the manga, but Garp is not like an Irish guy who chews scenery. He's more of an over-the-top character. You got a few moments where he's like laughing maniacally at like Luffy being able to run away, but I felt like a lot of the essence of Garp was not 100% translated, or at least not how I would have liked to have seen it, given though that he's like such an impactful character.
Plus, he said he doesn't show up until way later in the manga, right?
Yeah, until like 300, 400 chapters.
I have to disagree. I think with Garp, he was a little bit introduced as somewhat of a more serious character, and as we like get to know him more and more, and then realize all of a sudden, oh shit, he's like related to Luffy, and he's actually a ridiculous fucking guy. Like the more and more you get to know about him, like, oh, he is actually a silly guy. But I think the slow build up to learning about that for his character, I think it was pretty decent. Like, it didn't feel like it was like comical. Like sometimes with anime adaptation, like when you realize like a One Piece character is like actually ridiculous, like it's used for like a gag, like basically a cartoon. But like when you're translating that into live action, I think you have to do a little bit more care to introducing like, oh, this person is actually silly, like really ridiculous and silly. And so,
I think with the live action one, they did some appropriate adjusting, because like Garp is the driving force. Like he's pushing the heroes forward, and to give like a seasoned actor like that his due. I think they're like shuffling things around so he can do some real acting. But yeah, I watched this with a lady friend, and she knows zilch about One Piece or anything like that. And Garp was the most confusing part for her because if you're not into shonen type storytelling, why is your parent figure trying to kill you and then laughing about it later? and like, how is that supposed to help anything?
He wasn't trying to kill. No. He wasn't trying to kill Luffy at any point. He was only trying to capture him. He made that point multiple times. He wanted Luffy alive. He at no point wanted.
I would say I'd say that for the yes for the most part, but there's some things that like if he did it and Luffy wasn't on point, Luffy would not have survived that action, like throwing the
cannibal
ball. But like but the way we understand it, because we understand these stories, like he is the father saying, if you can't beat me, then it's too dangerous for you to go forward, and I'm going to protect you if it takes killing you, but like not actually killing you.
You're saying like it might be like a cultural Japanese thing that it makes more sense in that context, but it's not making that much sense in like an American context.
Cultural and like Japanese and like us weebs, we get it.
Right.
But yeah, like I saw like another video, I think it was called Film Speak. He mentioned like didn't quite get why his grandfather wanted to kill him so freaking hard. So yeah.
No, he just wanted to stop the pirate. He wanted Luffy to be a Marine, just like he tried training him, but the boy wouldn't listen.
MJ, did you are you like an anime fan at all as well? Like
I am a very casual anime fan, especially compared to you three. Yeah, real quick background. I'm one of those classic Cowboy Bebop, Akira, Evangelion fans. I've never really gotten too far into anime outside of that.
I did get him to watch the Chainsaw Man anime.
Because Chainsaw Man's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, that is pretty awesome.
But no, I mean compared to you three, I'm a very casual fan.
Well, you have probably like some of the best series under your belt right now, because you're picking things like you just said Cowboy Bebop, Evangelion.
To be fair, those are also the most popular in the Western culture. I mean, those are like the beginner's 3-pack when it comes to wading into anime.
Right.
Oh, so like I guess like going back to your experience with One Piece anime, is this convincing you to enjoy more anime? Like, are you on board for watching the anime? It's okay to say no, because like it's a lot, and I keep on like the thing I hear most of people who just maybe aren't as like goo gaga in love with it as I am, is that they really get put off by Oda's art style, and I don't know, like yeah.
Actually, for continuity of story, I'm kind of leaning more towards the manga, because you look at the manga has been coming out regularly for the last 20 years or 25 years, whenever I think it started in the late 90s. And then you look at what's been released for the anime, and the anime's got sub-series, OVAs, separate TV movies. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how do you watch any of this in order? It just hurts your head. And then you try to watch it through Netflix, and Netflix is slowly releasing it bit by bit, and you're like, how are you supposed to keep up and figure out where you are in the story when you go from this point to this point to this point? So I'm probably just going to read the manga. And it sounds like the manga is probably a year ahead of the anime at this point, anyway. So
you have been pulled into the Japanese side.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, especially from because when Isaac started mentioning Chainsaw Man and started watching the anime, I started reading the manga, and I'm way farther ahead in the manga than for the anime. And
nice.
The manga's fucking fantastic.
I might give that a shot.
Yeah. I mean. So I'm definitely leaning towards the manga side versus the anime side.
Just so you know, I'm looking it up. One Piece was released in 1997.
Damn.
As the manga.
Yeah, so 26 years. Yep.
Yeah.
And the anime?
The manga.
Yeah.
I don't know. When did the anime start? One Piece.
Let me look.
Probably.
I think 1999.
Oh yeah, 1999. So that is 24 years old.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, you look at the release of it, it's got series, sub-series, the OVAs, and just the releases are all over the place. And there are probably definitive guides of how to watch it in chronological order out there somewhere, but
I always skip the filler.
Yeah, me too. I'd always skip the filler, and I would always just try and shoot for the main story arcs and not worry about like filler movies or filler arcs. I mean, I heard actually one of the filler arcs was like a standalone, really good arc.
I heard that recently too. So I was figuring like I can always go back. I don't. I think.
Okay. So here,
do we maybe?
So I guess the next question is: are all the animes, the OVAs, and those various series, what have you, the filler arcs, as you guys are calling them, are they adapted straight from the manga, or are they anime only arcs?
Anime mostly anime only. Yeah,
that's why they're filler, because they're not actually part of the manga.
Got it. Okay.
All right. We got like maybe 20 minutes left. Okay. Do we want to start saying final thoughts, or anything else we should be like touching on when it comes to the love and joy that is?
I want to complain about a few adaptations. I think overall I'm very positive about the series. I think the highs, but I think the Fishmen look terrible. I also think the what you call it, there was a really bad idea to like kind of like give Arlong trap rap music to kind of like give him like a gangster theme, because like one of my least favorite parts was the Bharati scene where Arlong's like, you know, just going in the restaurant and being savage and rude,
right?
And like when you've got that like black identification, it has like where the white woman at energy, or where the human woman at, and I was really surprised that like surprisingly no one really called it out, but like
I think I know why.
No, that bugged me too. There was way too much Killmonger energy for that. It's
I think
somebody
I know
watched
why.
Black Panther and thought, "Hey, that's the way we should show Arlong." I mean, come on, guys.
I think I get why though, and because Arlong, like Arlong's still fucking cool. Like he's a bad guy. He's who he got beat down. It's not cool that when you portray black people as like the thugs and like the negative stuff. But I guess like the main problem that like white people have for a long time is like it's like when you only do that and you make us the ugliest people on screen. Whereas like Arlong, without makeup on, he's one of the most beautiful people who have ever existed. And like the music is really good. Like I get like maybe we shouldn't have coded it as hip hop, but the kind of beats that do kick in kind of like get your head bobbing a little bit. You're like oh okay, that's kind of cool. So
and the actor that they got to play Arlong, his voice for that role was just perfect. I thought the way he was delivering all his lines and acting for the entire role was perfect.
I mean, definitely props to him for acting through the copious amounts of prosthetic. But I do think that like you definitely needed. I don't know. I think the Fishermen should have been CGI, but I can understand why they weren't CGI because you only have so much. But
I thought probably could have pulled it off with prosthetics, maybe not made it as gaudy and obviously prosthetic.
Or I think going by that was it goes back to why they didn't kill the cat pirates, but they were killing fishmen, and that's because like they do look goofy, cartoony ogres, and like it makes it easier for you to get the satisfaction of a kill versus like always knocking someone out. So that's what we're getting. Like, make it.
Somebody comes after me with two pair of blades and cat ears. I'm cutting them down. Fuck them.
Yeah, but like they do need to try to worry. They are actually trying to get children. I know they aren't rated that, but like they do want children to watch too. So if you're gonna have children watch, you can't like stab like the cute cat girl woman. Like I don't think. They'd be cool.
Well, they also murdered Mary. That was another issue I have. Like on one hand, it seems like rectifying the complaint of the manga, where like Oda doesn't kill characters even though they should die. And I was like, oh, this nice little Mary guy who's like the namesake of their fucking ship. He just gets stabbed with 5 fingers and thrown down a well. What happened to him in Mary do?
What happened to him in the manga?
He survives.
He survives.
Oh.
Yeah,
he sees them off, and he gives the Straw Hats well wishes as he gives the fish, as he gives the ship away.
I think in that moment, like with fewer episodes, and to give the impact that like these are bad guys, like he's the sacrifice that makes sense.
Oh, he was the sacrifice for the stakes. Got it.
Yes, like like you now it's real. Now it's personal. Now like the Going Merry has a sacrifice associated with it.
So what'd you guys think of Claudor? Their adaptation of Claudor.
Loved it. Like in the anime, he had me completely fooled. I didn't suspect him for a bloody second, and loved how cleanly they did it here. Where like I feel like I don't know. Like, oh yeah, when you first saw him, did you suspect that he was like? I guess the camera was kind of giving away. But yeah, did he look like a bad guy to you?
Oh, totally.
Okay. In the anime, like he kept on adjusting his glasses like that. You're like,
in the anime.
That's a little weird to adjust your glasses that way. But and then like when it unfolds, you're like, what? So
no, in the live action, you could tell the stick was so far up his ass that it was an act.
He just continued waxing his mustache.
Well, the interesting thing about Syrup Village is everyone hates Syrup Village as an arc. So I think that was one of the smartest adaptations to go for that like camp Tim Burton Amblin horror Lemony Snicket Harry Potter vibe, and how everything in the mansion was just so overly designed.
Mm-hmm. But like practical sets. Yeah, while I was watching it, for a while, a couple times, like, is that real? Looks really real. Did they build all that? And I'm like, yeah, these are placed. These like the ship is a real thing. I'm not sure if it sails, but like, yeah,
the set pieces was pretty good. I was happy with how they designed the sets and everything.
Another complaint I had is that I think the Nami flashback needed a little more time to breathe. I thought it was a little rushed. I think, and I was also surprised with the casting of Bellamere.
There were some scenes I was really missing in the Arlong Park arc. Nami like pretend stabbing Usopp. I think that was a really great scene. They should have tried to put in the live action.
No, instead they show her stabbing herself right in the arm. Like I was wincing so fucking hard when she was stabbing herself, screaming Arlong.
She does that both in the anime and in the.
Yeah, that's an iconic scene.
Yeah,
but I was watching her do that. I'm like, why don't you just try to scratch off your tattoo? Because if you stab yourself in that part of your arm, that arm is useless. That muscle is pretty fucking important to the movement of that arm. Then you see her fighting later on in the next episode. Like, oh.
Right.
I mean, are we applying Bruce Willis physics to this now? I can survive anything.
She's very lucky. She avoided stabbing anything critical. She's very lucky that day. Okay, I think we should start going around like final words, unless we got something we need to touch on, which I'm open to. But yeah, we're running out of time.
One thing I was like, while I was doing my nitpicks, I think Barate suffered. Don Krieg, nobody likes Don Krieg, so it was fun to see him get axed by Mihawk and never brought up again. But by the same token, I think you should have had Don Krieg's fleet try and take it over, so Sanji joining them and Barate would feel more triumphant. Versus, there was an interesting video.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Versus like in the Netflix version, it feels like why the hell is he going with these guys when they just had their asses handed to them? It just feels very arbitrary versus like this big triumphant thing where Luffy wins his respect by protecting his home place. But one big compliment, I think they knocked it out of the park with Sanji's backstory. I thought him and Zeph was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and my only critique against that is like I hope the actor who plays Sanji never hears this. I find him to be the only one that's off in the casting. I love the actor. He seems to be a great person, and he's earned it too. Like he went through training for like martial arts, and he learned to cook, and he was cooking from like the cast on set regularly. So he did earn it. But like his kicks are bad. His kicks don't look good. His kicks are sluggish and clunky, and like every time he does
his kicks don't feel like Sanji's kicks.
Yeah, he's a lumbering guy. He's like when it comes to good taekwondo, you need a more slender dude.
I feel like getting anime like Sanji style kicks might be, I would say, very hard to emulate.
I'm looking for live action good taekwondo fighting, and
Okay.
his form is rough, and like it has to do it's his body shape that makes it so that he's not as
But Keith,
swift as a good Taekwondo fighter would be.
but Keith, he made
I
up for
see.
it with those abs. Come on.
He definitely loves showing those off.
Sweet
Like I said,
Jesus. When he took off his shirt and saved Luffy, I'm like, Jesus Christ, are you appealing to the thirsty part of the audience with freaking Sanji here?
I want
Jesus.
to make sure that in the downtime they're working on his Taekwondo skills because
And his abs.
yes, his abs are fine. They got that. They got that.
Greg's wife was like going like, "Oh, Sanji, he looks great. Oh, he's so sexy."
Yeah.
So I'm wondering-
like that.
So after making it through the series, I had to wonder, why doesn't all the devil fruit eaters wear water wings? If you're in a world that's covered with 95% water and y'all can't swim if you've eaten the devil fruit, wear freaking water wings. Otherwise, you're sinking like a rock. Come on, y'all.
Well, you have to make sure if they're sinking like a rock, you have to have enough flotation devices on to make sure that rock doesn't sink, right? So,
And for battle, that's not always practical. All right, I think
You don't
we
have to keep
should,
them inflated.
we guys are doing final words on this. All right, unless anything else we should touch upon.
I'm trying to think. Is there any? Greg.
I had some thoughts about.
I'm also open to doing part 2 to this because like I loved this so much. I have so much to like keep saying about the show.
I think there's something about fishmen in general, like how they're introduced like kind of like as another random species, but later on I guess we learn more about them, and a lot of their story is like very like much like almost I feel like it's a metaphor for like what's happened in like Black history in America in a lot of ways.
Oh, it's broad. It's supposed to be like any sort of
anybody oppressed.
discriminated group, anyone
Left
oppressed.
out, anybody
Although
pushed
obviously
out.
a lot of people, draw parallels to whatchamacallit with like Queen Otahime being like Malcolm Luther. No, why am I blanking on this? Martin Luther King, and then Fisher Tiger being kind of like Malcolm X. But generally, it's supposed to be like a broader allegory for any like underprivileged or oppressed group.
Right. But I was just wondering like how like at some point that metaphor is going to become more and more, I think, apparent. I feel like there's going to be a bigger sense of like, yeah, this is like kind of the meta conversation around what fishmen are in relation to the One Piece world.
I think it can be used as a metaphor if we want to, and people will, but the fishmen don't come into play much after this until
Not for a long
much
time.
later.
Right?
Yeah, like
Right.
what I think is going to happen is like the series finale is going to be them crossing the Grand Line, and that's going to be like where they stop the show.
So wait, in the manga and the anime, they still haven't reached the Grand Line?
They
Oh, no,
absolutely, but it took a long fucking time to get there.
Got it.
No, it only took like East Blue and then Alabasta. They're pretty much there.
How many episodes is that?
That's like I don't know, 40, 50.
Oh, 50.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's still a lot of episodes for normal people.
Second season, I think they're going to go up the Red Mountain or what's knock upstream.
Well, they're gonna do whatchamacallit, Logetown, then the reverse
Right.
mountain, then all the sub arcs leading up to Alabasta.
Yeah.
And how many
exactly.
years do you guys think that is about?
I think that's going to be next season.
Okay.
But Alabasta be third season, maybe?
No,
I think it's
Alabasta
going to be
probably,
second.
It's going to be second
Or-
season. I think they're going to try and incorporate everything in one season. My guess is that what they'll do is they'll do the first 4 episodes, condense some of the stuff, and try and get through all that in that time.
Like,
And then
you could do
Alabasta will be the
Logtown
last 4
probably-
episodes.
You could do Logtown probably like one episode easy.
Even
Because they
less.
got a ticking clock on how long these kids look like how they do, and like that's why I think like we won't be going like they won't be fighting the One Piece. I think this is going to be like almost promotional material for the anime eventually. Like Netflix usually doesn't go beyond 6 seasons. That's usually their cutoff point.
Well,
So-
have you seen the articles though? They supposedly
No.
talked about 12 seasons, and
Oh my
but right
God.
now they're just talking about 6. So I think what the plan will be to like get up to the time jump in Marineford in season 6, and then assuming if it does well. So far, it's doing really, really well. And if they hit it out, and well, all right. So can I be my final thoughts?
Please.
All right, so my final thoughts is this is the big turning point. I've waited as a weeb for a long time. I think One Piece is the beginning of a new era, and One Piece is going to be the flagship Game of Thrones of the 2020s later on. And it is perfectly set up. It's got all the fundamentals right. It's got some of the best materials, most beloved material to adapt for the second season. And if Netflix gives them a little extra money to the budget and they knock it out of the park, then they could easily get to that 6 seasons, 12 seasons, and just become a dynasty of television. A great wave that will be what Game of Thrones was for fantasy. One Piece is going to be for anime.
Pirates.
Yes, just like Luffy said, just like Gold Roger started the great age of pirates by saying, you can find my treasure in One Piece. Luffy has said, you can find streaming riches and franchises that go forever in Japan. And thus, all the studios went out, going to the land of the rising sun, signing up mangakas, fighting for TV anime rights.
Oh, wow.
Because now they know the new gold rushes happen. The death of the superhero is here. The rise of the anime manga shonen hero has come.
Is it?
And a new Dragon Ball Z movie that won't suck. Yay!
I wonder. Like, I think this is an anomaly because, like, I thought that the world changed with Lord of the Rings. We figured out, like, hey, if you just do it right and like not try to change everything, you get rewarded. And then, like the sequels came, I was like, aha! Since we already know the formula, they know not to fuck this up. Everything's gonna be okay. Oh my god! So like, I think it's
true.
I think you're rolling the dice every time it happens. Like it's whoever is up there.
They couldn't even adapt The Hobbit, right? Okay, so the sequel trilogy was screwed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I gotta wrap up and real quick. Final words, MJ.
I am very looking forward to season 2. I hope they keep the same Amblin Entertainment vibe to it and keep the same positivity flowing through it. And I'll even tolerate another season of Kobe looking like a blonde Harry Potter because every time he was on screen, I was just like, that's Daniel Radcliffe. You can't tell me different.
He is very Harry Potter.
Holy crap. And,
I did not notice that, how hard they went on Harry Potter with it. Okay.
And hopefully Hamepo gets more mentions of his name than just one time throughout the entirety of the 8 episodes, which just made me laugh. And I'm really looking forward to what they do with Usopp, because the first time I watched through the series, I thought they underwrote Usopp. I just thought they made him too much of an insecure mess.
Mm-hmm.
But what they laid out with him, where the insecurity was coming from, and eventually, I imagine he's going to eventually meet his father when they inevitably run into Shanks' crew again, because I get the feeling they'll eventually run into Shanks' crew again.
You might have to wait a little bit for that. But
so far, no. It's 1,075 episodes so far. No.
Are you fucking kidding me? So Usopp still hasn't met his dad.
Well, real quick, we gotta close this up. Really quickly, right. I did want to touch about that in the anime. The difference between the anime and the manga is that in the anime, I always found it curious for years how cool they were with the father seemingly abandoning the kid. Like the father left, and like the family was like, "Cool, God bless you. We wish you the best." And everybody was just happy that he went on with the life what he wanted. So yeah, they aren't like worried about him anymore because they are happy for him.
I don't know, because you could see it, constantly boiling in Usopp's eyes, especially when he mentions Usopp and Luffy's just heaping praise on Usopp, how great he is, and Usopp's just sitting there like, motherfucker, I wish I knew my dad, asshole.
Yeah, I think that's I think a little Western
I felt so bad for Usopp in that scene.
It's a little Western influence. I think that should have been, it made sense to put it there. All right, Greg, final words.
Okay, well, this is an interesting concept. Context I didn't really think about, but okay. I agree with Isaac about the Barate arc. I think that could have been a little bit stronger, but overall, I'd say I saw a lot of great things here. And I did have some issues with the buggy a little bit. I think, but I can't explain them all right now.
Mhm.
They should include the dog from that arc. But yes, I'm so excited for the second season. I want to see what they do. Oda being a part of this makes me hopeful, so I'm still hopeful and want to see more. And I like what I see so far with the characters.
All right. Let's see. On Facebook, I wrote down the things I've been titanically wrong about and loved it. One of them was that I thought the Xbox One was going to take the PS4. I thought Speed Racer was going to be awful, and I thought that we didn't need George Lucas, and the sequel trilogy was going to be the greatest Star Wars we'd ever seen. And the other thing I was wrong about is One Piece live action. Like I said, I was ready to freaking grab it and choke it to death myself, and we both fall into the sea and perish. And like, at least I took it with me, and it wouldn't affect the world. But like, instead, I'm wondering if this is. I do wonder, is this a Star Wars moment, like legit Star Wars, or a Harry Potter moment, where a bunch of kids have now seen this world, and it was done so well. The world building was so good that I can't wait to see like the new army of children who are like One Piece fans that are rising up around this. So I loved it. I loved the flaws. I like it. I don't like it when I do like bad special effects. So the Fishman looking fake, I enjoy it because I have to use my imagination. There's a tokusatsu element of it, and if you guys don't know what tokusatsu is, it's live action Japanese television, and the action they do is very specific and fantastic. And I really felt the show really felt tokusatsu. There was like the moment where they're training a samurai that looked a lot like the show Garo, and they're
Garo?
trained. Yeah, Garo.
Yeah.
Garo. And like there's like this training sequences that they do with their children in the woods, and it looks straight up like what Zoro School. So like I just feel like I'm seeing elements from
It's
Garo.
funny, me and Isaac know this very well, actually. Whether Isaac likes it or not, he knows it very well.
Garo is my favorite things of all time, and I will convince you guys otherwise if you don't think so. It's so good.
No, Garo's pretty fantastic. I just have to finish watching it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some good things about it. That's a whole nother topic.
Okay.
I'm down to go.
I don't want to get too off topic, but like, Tokusatsu fans who like Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, and Garo, we're seeing like the stuff that we've been enjoying in the shadows for years make the big time, and it's beautiful to see. So, yeah, I'm in love. I didn't expect this to happen, and I hope they keep it up. And I definitely think we'll be doing some more One Piece content on the podcast. So yeah,
I'm glad they gave you Picard season 3, Keith.
Yes, me too. I did not see it coming. I did not see it coming at all.
What season 3?
Picard, Star Trek Picard,
where they start, caring about the fans and doing things right.
I haven't followed Star Trek in a while.
Don't watch first 2 seasons. Season 3, if you like Star Trek Next Generation, watch season 3 of Picard.
Do watch them if you do enjoy hate watching though, because it's hilarious.
Oh my god! Seasons.
I was dying laughing at seasons 1 and 2. I'm sorry. I actually had a great time with how just awful it was. I had so much fun, and then they took my fun away by making it actually good.
Well,
all right. Yeah, One Piece, freaking awesome. Anything else we need to say? We gotta close this up.
One last thing to say. I appreciate the fact that they had 2 Wilhelm screams in the entirety of the series. I thought that was fun. And I hope they keep having Mihawk fire out golden lines, like the whole bringing out the little cross blade to fight Zoro, and Zoro going, "What the hell is that? I came here for a sword fight." And Mihawk come back saying, "I don't hunt rabbits with a cannon."
Yeah.
Oh, I love that fucking line.
The casting of Mihawk is so freaking good. Oh. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's. I mean, if we want to do a part 2 of this somehow, or just talk about like One Piece culture and life, we can do that, because I think we could even talk about like they closed at they're closed at the Wano arc by now, right?
Yep. I'm sure you saw the last episode of Wano.
Yes. So that was it. That was the Wano arc is really over. He's not getting back up. We're not going to do another 80 episodes of like another fight. That's okay. Thank God. Oh God, that lasted like 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was a little long.
Oh my
There was
God.
some great highlights from there, but yeah, that was a pretty long arc, I guess.
Damn.
Okay, now you're just making the anime sound exhausting. Jesus.
Sometimes it can
Can
be,
be.
but it's always worth it. All right, Greg,
Yeah.
where can you find more of your work on the internet?
I'm on Twitch, Goro Gregoro.
Can you spell that?
So Goro from whatchamacallit, Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
So Goro and then Greg in between and then Oro. So that's my name.
Gotcha.
And on Twitch, I do art on there.
Right on. And MJ, where can you find more of you on the internet?
Once I'm done with my social media detox here, you can find me on all the socials at MJ3342. That's EMJAY3342.
EMJY33442.
Correct.
Bam. All right. And
On
Isaac.
Zitter. Woo!
On Zitter.
Isaac, where can you find more of you on the internet?
You can find me at Lobster Magnet Reviews on YouTube. Check out my video on Mr. Beast.
All
Yeah,
right.
that was an interesting
Fantastic,
one.
by the way.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
well,
thank
was. You actually unlocked a level of understanding of humanity with
The
that
wrong one, but I mean, you're kind of half right.
Oh,
That's
no.
my inspiration for my channel name. There you go, the one above it. There we go.
Cool.
Comedy used to be about pushing down.
Right on.
The autoplay, but go watch that Mr. Beast video.
It's a banger. It's a banger.
And let's
All
give you
right.
a toilet video.
And you can find me at Keith Hayward on Twitter, at Keith Justice on Instagram. You can find this podcast and more on popgeeks.com. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and look us up on YouTube or the same name. It's been great. And we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. We are out.